We want to use the new theme song or the old standby?
Yeah, let's give it a shot to the new one. Why not?
All right. So we've got our officially not a sponsor. And here we go. When these dads meet world, watching Boy Meets World. We grew up on the show, now we have kids and host a podcast. We watch each episode and then share our thoughts and grades. When these dads meet world.
They want you to take the roles. They do. They want you to take the roles. Welcome, one and all, to Dads Meet World. It's giving us a little different vibe with this new theme song, Brett, and I do like it.
It's a much more mellow vibe, yeah.
Yeah. The other one, I felt like I had to come in and be like, hello, welcome. But this is like, hey, we're in it. We're going to talk. Let's chat. I am dad number one this week, Tyler. Where am I going? I don't know. Brett, you want to introduce yourself? Dad number two?
Sure, I'm dad number two, yeah. And if you're joining us on...
It's different vibes. It's messing with my head.
It's totally messing with your head. If you're joining us on YouTube, we're debuting video this week. That's not just the static image. You can see over my shoulder, it's Halloween time here in Ohio. That's Steve over my shoulder. I didn't turn his eyes on that would blink creepily at you the entire episode, so you're welcome, good-looking people.
It's a little disappointing. I do like you still have you have on display the jersey from Smallville. So if anyone's watching, you can catch that.
I will always have that Smallville Crows Letterman's jacket up there.
Give me 1 second. Sarah's got to use the ice bin. Go ahead.
Okay. See, what you need is you just need to get a big Dads Meet World tapestry from the Dads Meet World shop. Just hang it behind you until you get it all set up.
Oh, I didn't even say what we do at this podcast. I'm sorry, everyone. If you don't know, if this is the first time you're here, I'm sorry. I'm a little disorganized, but this is a podcast.
Welcome back.
Episode by episode. Yeah, this is Dads Meet World. We give takes as dads on the show Boy Meets World, a show we love and, completely just want to talk about. So that's what we're doing here is we're just giving our takes as dads and trying to just lift up your spirit a little bit. So yeah,
that's right. We love the show. We know you love the show, or you wouldn't be listening. So we want to have it's like a dad to maybe you're a dad, maybe you're a kid chat, and we share our love. Yeah. So how are you, Tyler?
Exactly. Well, that's the problem, Brett. Is we are in chaos at our house. Henry's been dealing with some hand, foot, mouth, which if you've had a kid that has dealt with hand, foot, mouth, you know that is miserable. Grayson had it once, and he literally he had it basically for a day, and then it was nothing. But it was the policy, he couldn't come back, and so he was fine for a whole week and just had a whole week off. With this kid, however, he just has these spots that won't go away, and the babysitter is you can't come until these are taken care of. Yeah. And they haven't changed at all in a week, and we're he needs to go back. Good night, I love you.
I feel sorry for
so guy. Yeah, I mean he's miserable, but he's also happy. So he's got a lot of energy, but also in pain, miserable, all that jazz. Mm-hmm. And then the other one last night started, I think, a 24-hour bug. He just couldn't keep anything down and had a nice big mess on the couch that I had to clean up. I was actually on my way to a meeting, and I got a call, and it was you need to come home. I said, okay. A little bit of chaos. So having one dealing with an actual throw up sickness and another one dealing with an illness of, both miserable and both want mommy, and both can't have mommy at the same time. So makes it nice and fun and intense for my wife. So
of course,
that's why she gets a pass for trying to get ice right now, Brett, because she's exhausted and needs her time. But how are you,
course,
Brett?
yes.
Is something else good happening in the world? Tell me there's something else good.
Oh, yes, we're in the final week of marching band and football here. Our team's not going to the playoffs. We're like 2-6, so or whatever. We have 2 wins, so we're not going to the playoffs.
You
And the
started
kids
with 2
had,
wins, and you're ended with 2 wins.
Yeah, we were like 2-1 for a little bit there. Yeah.
That's all right.
But yeah, this week was the every year for their last marching band practice, they do a Halloween theme. So they do costumes, and there's a band booster brings out a food truck for them. So they do dinner before practice. They haze the freshmen a little bit by making them think they're going to run the entire practice again by themselves. And so Abby waited until 2 days ago. This was tonight. It took place 2 days ago to formally actually request, hey, because they do squad themed. There's squads are 4 members, and then there's sections based on their instruments. Abby waited until 2 days ago to actually formally request that we get the costume for her for tonight. And so we were running around trying to get the squad. Their squad was Five Nights at Freddy's. So you've got 4 clarinets running around as Five Nights at Freddy's. And we found a child's, which almost fit my 16-year-old. Just a little too snug, so she cut the bottom half off, wore the top half in the child's mask. Toby waited until yesterday to actually even mention to me, to my knowledge, what his squad's theme even was. The entire trombone section was doing Madagascar. His squad was the Penguins. And Toby was, what is it, Nitro is the one that does the bombs? So sure. Toby waits until yesterday to actually ask us to do anything for his costume. So we get on Amazon, we look at all the stores in the area. We got Abby an actual like Japanese penguin sleeper penguin costume type thing a year or 2 ago for Christmas. Can we find it? No. So we're looking around trying to find stuff. I can get stuff here tomorrow, maybe Saturday, but nothing overnight. So I'm on my way home from work today. I'm throwing. I stop into the craft store, and I managed to safety pin together on one of my charcoal hoodies. I put together just like this foam, really thin foam core, white belly, and an orange bill, and some really big googly eyes. So he was a penguin, and I found out afterwards one of the 4 members of his section wore a French maid's costume because that was penguin colors. Okay, so that's what's good going on in the world. And tomorrow night is senior night. It's the last home football. It's the last football game of the year. So
yeah, that's all right. So as long as it was a good season, that's all that counts, I guess.
It was. It showed memories. A lot of promise.
Memories.
Good memories. The football team had a lot of promise. The band, of course, was fantastic as always. Couple of good band shows, and yeah, just a good season all around. So yes, I would say so. So what do you say? We get it?
Well, just real quick, just a real quick comment, just a real quick question.
Go for it.
So, I get that people are in band. I was never in that world. So, like, as a parent of 2 band people compared to having 1 band person, is there a difference in you guys trying to watch the 2 of them while they're performing? Is it kind of complicated? Like, do you and Kelly insane. Go, okay, now I'm watching Abby, now I'm watching Toby, now we switch, so that way we're watching what they're doing?
It's insanity, because even though they're on the same... This marching band does some really intense formations. I mean, this is one of the most committed marching bands in the region. And some of the formations they do, it's impossible for either one of us to keep an eye on both of them. So sometimes we swap off. Sometimes we'll both be on one. Sometimes we'll both be on the other. It's just insanity. It took us like 3 weeks to really know well, okay, maybe not 3 weeks, but it took us a couple of games to really be able to know exactly which one was Toby, because Toby has long hair. Toby has to wear his hair up because of the uniform. We're looking at Toby up in the stands down in the middle of a football field. It's very difficult to make out which one is Toby sometimes without his hair.
That's fair. Well, and I'll say this. Most of the people that are in my marching band, it was always obvious who was who, where they were. It was not hard to find them. So, but also their uniforms allowed for for their shapes and sizes to be more noticeable, I would say. Where I'm assuming your guys is like everyone looks identical, just about.
Pretty much. I mean, there's some variation. There's some bigger bodies, but the uniform itself, it keeps pretty similar all across. Yeah.
That's all right. All righty. Well,
what do you say we get into
so...
The Last Temptation of Cory?
That's what I was going to say. I just got to pull up the script and then I'm solid. So,
all right. Well, I'll go through my part
for me for
here.
a second. Oh yeah,
we'll vamp.
Give me that synopsis. That's right. We do that thing.
All right. Well, good-looking people. We're going to look at the 9th episode of season 3 this week. It is, as I mentioned, The Last Temptation of Cory. Gee, I wonder if that title reference will come up in the deep dives. Now, while Topanga is sick, Cory becomes the object of a pretty girl's insistent affections. Will he give in to temptation? Meanwhile, Eric spends his money in a get-rich-quick scheme. Does he have a piece of valuable baseball memorabilia or just a piece of junk? This episode was written by Suzanne Myers and Judy Toll. Myers, this is the first of 3 episodes. She also wrote Train of Fools, and she was credited for Stormy Weather, both later this season. And for Toll, this is the first of 2 that she's credited for, also including Train of Fools. And unfortunately, she passed away in 2002 from melanoma. This episode was directed by David Traynor, who, of course, directed nearly all of season 1 and 2, and this is the first of his 4 season 3 episodes that he'll direct. Originally aired December 1st, 1995. Currently enjoys a IMDb rating of 7.9. And it is time for everyone's favorite game show.
Vast emotional damage.
Yes. So, Tyler.
I'm right.
That's the wrong button. Yes. Every week, good-looking people, we like to look at the Nielsen numbers when people and dinosaurs roam the earth together. And my parents could ride to work on a dinosaur. And little boxes sat on top of... Wow, that got short. Okay, apparently I reloaded the short clip in, but
That's all right.
we measured viewers in numbers with little boxes, and the previous episode had a 16.6 million viewers who tuned in. Tyler, what do you think this episode pulled in?
Oh, what did you say the number was? I'm sorry.
Previously, it was 16.6.
All right. Dang. Let's go with 15.
15 is the guess. You are not a winner of The Price is Right. Only 13 million tuned in on this cold December night. Yeah, big sharp drop off. Apparently December 1st was... People were busy elsewhere.
Apparently.
Now, before we get into everything, I just want to note we do go by these as they aired, but I do like to note here and there that in TV world, episodes are not aired as they are produced or as they were even written to be produced. The production code for this episode falls before Truth and Consequences, Hometown Hero, This Little Piggy, City Slackers, and rave on. And it originally, in the production scheme, was supposed to come directly after He Said, She Said. So production-wise, this episode was supposed to be, it was intended to be, the 5th episode of the season. So when you go back through and you watch this episode again, and I'll probably put it out on our social channels. I broke everything down into what, the actual production code. You can find it on, online pretty easily. But it's interesting. The second half of the season is pretty much as it was intended, but the first half is just all over the place. So
the first season did that too, because
second season too,
because the team B or whatever, I can't remember how they did.
B team
on the
of
basketball
life.
Team, B team of life. Yes, it was like episode 18, and it was recorded with the original
during
grouping. So
like golf season or something like that.
yeah. So I mean, it's not surprising because some of the things that are stated, like a charity walk for the homeless being done in December, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But for it to be a part of like the fall season right after Eli got hired, that makes sense. So I won't have as much of a soapbox then as I initially was going to.
I short-circuited your soapbox.
Well, don't worry. I have a conspiracy theory that we'll get to later. So don't you worry. I have plenty that I can go off on.
All right. Well, I won't short-circuit your get off my lawn energy then.
Well, it won't be get off my lawn. It's mostly am I the only one noticing this? Am I the only one seeing this? Am I the first person to bring this up? Why is no one else saying anything? Where is the internet?
It's out there.
I have to
take
say.
us away.
Well, hold on. I have to say this real quick because in other podcasts that I listen to,
to your world.
no, just in other podcasts I listen to, there's information out there that shows are talked about on the internet. All the shows that are real in social media internet, it's kind of crazy to me how much little information is truly out there about specific things that happen, unless someone from the cast or people talk about it, which they don't, because back in the day you made your show and then you moved on to the next show. It's interesting because if you look at The Office, any podcast that comes out about The Office, there is loads of information out there. But when it comes to something like Boy Meets World, and even stuff like Full House and whatnot, even if people make the podcasts that are on there, they don't always have all the information. So it's just fascinating. That's all. What TV has become after social media internet is crazy to me. So
I'm right there with you.
Anywho, we start this episode at the school, Brett. Cory is on the phone talking to Topanga because Topanga's sick.
She's sick.
How can she be sick?
She'd never catch a cold.
Yes. She takes some special trout fluid.
Yes. Oh, I clipped a
Fish
little bit
oil.
of this post phone call. I just enjoyed it so much. Let me
please.
bring the volume back up here a little bit.
Topi. Oh, drop dead. We're in love.
Not us. Do that again and I will hurt you.
Sean, I'm not embarrassed about it. I mean, Topanga and I are serious. We do everything together.
Hi, Cory. Love that shirt.
Hey, thanks. Underneath it, I'm half naked.
You and Topanga do everything together, huh? Even flirt with Libby Harper?
Flirt? I was just being friendly. Besides, girls like Libby Harper don't flirt with me.
Well, that was before. Now you have the scent.
Well, what exactly is the scent?
I'll tell you about the
All
scent.
right, stop.
It means women want you.
Why?
Because they can't have you. You're with Topanga. They think you're unavailable. Virgo. They want you.
Virgo.
Virgo. The scent.
The scent.
We're in love.
Now, I will say this is a little bit of rehashing from last season when Cory and Sean were talking about him being with Wendy and girls flirting with him and him being confused and saying, hey, they're interested in you. You're hot, go for it.
Yeah.
No.
But still, well, and as we get into this, just to share, Libby Harper is played by Lindsay McKeon. This is first of 2 times that we'll see her on Boy Meets World. She'll also show up again down the road in season 5 for the First Girlfriends Club. She has 49 acting credits to her name, including Saved by the Bell, The New Class, Third Rock from the Sun, Grounded for Life, CSI Miami, Cold Case, Without a Trace, House, Veronica Mars, One Tree Hill, 90210, all the teen dramas, Supernatural, NCIS, and others. And fun factoid, Boy Meets World was her first credited role.
Nice.
Yeah, and so Missy Robinson also is played by Elizabeth Harnois. I believe I'm guessing, but based on the spelling, it's Harnois. It's either Harnois or Harnois, and I'm going with Harnois. It's her first and only time that we'll see her on Boy Meets World. She has 53 acting credits to her name, including Highway to Heaven, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Brotherly Love, which she guested on with Matthew Lawrence, Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place, Charmed, Criminal Minds, CSI Miami, One Tree Hill, CSI, and others. What did you think about Cory?
I think you're forgetting to say, Brad, that she was also in My Date with the President's Daughter. Oh, yeah, My Date with Her. So happening.
Yeah. I wondered if you'd pick up on that. I was leaving that out there.
Oh, yeah, no, it's there. It's never not there. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is, in fact, if you were with us last year when we had some situations during the holiday season.
Our very first extra credit episode.
Yes. My wife and I went through and did My Date with the President's Daughter. So I learned some very interesting things about her and her opinions on Boy Meets World that day.
Yes,
and if you want to know more about the female perspective of Hollywood and Boy Meets World land, I recommend giving it a chance.
Yeah, go back and listen to extra credit, My Date with the President's Daughter. Yes. So what did you think about Cory and his, I'm not flirting, but underneath it, I'm mostly naked?
It's just, it's that thing with Cory of like, he just says things. Like, it's like he doesn't think about it and he just goes for it and says, yeah. So I don't get Cory sometimes. Like, I'm just being friendly. Well, you don't just say that to anyone there, doofus. So
you don't tell any guy that underneath your clothes you're naked? I mean,
normally I don't. So
yeah.
Also, I wouldn't say that to a girl that I'm not dating. Or even to my wife, I wouldn't say that to.
I'd probably tell my wife, but yeah, I wouldn't tell anyone else. I mean, yeah, I'm goofing around with a group of guys that I hang out with, maybe, but it'd have to be the right group of guys.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, I don't know. It's just also that way that sometimes they have Cory talk like he was ready for that one-liner, and it's just odd.
He's had it in the chamber. He's just been waiting to use it.
It could be it. He's like, I've been thinking about this joke, and I just want someone to say something, and I'll just bam.
It's stuck. You got to get it out.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah. So Cory has the scent, which we talked about this in season 2, and yeah, it's one of those deals where it's just a trope, I guess, in TV of, hey, if you're dating someone, people are more interested in you. You're off the market. People want to get you. You're more able. Blah blah blah. I don't know. I just like he goes, it's not like a girl like Missy Robinson is gonna just come have short talk with me, and then all of a sudden she's like, Cory
Matthews. Oh.
Yeah, did you know that the sun sets today at 6:52?
That's rather impressive small talk.
Yeah. Fun fact, I'll just go ahead and blow this little deep dive because it's not really a deep dive. It's mostly just a correction.
It's a puddle
time
jump.
the time at Philadelphia in which the sun would have been setting would be about like 4:48. So even if we say 4:50, even 5 o'clock ish, still not even remotely close to almost 7.
Not in December
maybe
anyway, but
maybe in
back
California.
September.
September, yes. You know what? Gosh dang it. I'm sure if it was set on the date that it should have been, it could have been that time because that is roughly in September when the sun starts going down. It really is. Like you go back to school, all of a sudden the sun comes down super quick.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so Missy Robinson's talking to him. It kind of freaks him out a little bit. They're in class, and Sean's talking to Cory, and Missy is sitting in Topanga's seat in Feeny's class.
Very much someone's been eating my porridge type of vibe to it.
Yeah, he talks about, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I do like that you can tell. I don't know if it's just the actress is making a choice or she was told to do this, but she is clearly hearing everything they're saying and she is reacting to it. Now, I don't know if it's just for Topanga, like she's supposed to act like she's only paying attention to class. She's not paying attention to Cory and Sean, but Missy Robbins is not there to learn. She is there to flirt with Cory, and that's the whole reason she's sitting where she's sitting.
Oh, yes. Completely.
So, then Mr. Fee, this is one of my favorite bits in the whole show, is he goes, Mr. Matthews, what did I say? I don't know. I was too busy listening. Very good. Mr. Hunter? Franklin Roosevelt and Franklin Roosevelt and the New Deal. Oh, dear Lord, he's right.
He's right.
It's been my answer for 2 years.
Sooner or later, I had to pay off.
It's gold. It was fantastic.
Gosh.
I love that. I was too busy absorbing to listen. Good one. that whole sequence is perfect.
I love that he's so used to their excuses. I'll even say, like, I was watching a little bit of College Years, and Feeny at that point is yeah, I know what your excuses are. Just, I know the situation. It's fine.
Yeah.
But, at this point still, he's like just kind of amusing them. Like, go ahead, tell me the reason why.
Yeah. Lord,
yeah.
he's right.
But we find out apparently they're doing they have some sort of history project that is talked about.
The Great Depression, yes.
Yeah, something. They don't say what the project is or what they're supposed to be doing, but they're supposed to be partners. And
it's a partner
Sean
project,
and Cory, they are like, we are clearly going to be partners. And Feeny's like, share the wealth.
Yes.
So Cory and Sean, and again, this feels like a first couple weeks of school situation. Like, I don't know, first 2 weeks, first 3 weeks, the first project, Feeny's like, just go with someone else once is the general vibe you have.
Oh, yeah.
Not like into December. In December, teachers don't care. They're like, yeah, sure, I don't care. Be with whoever you want to be with.
Yeah, if they've got a small project that late into the year, they're just like, fine, just get it over with.
Yeah, exactly. So Missy, because she's in the class with them, is like, Cory, why don't we be partners? And Cory's like, no, I should do double the work and do it myself. Until Trini, who normally is partners with Topanga, and what is she gonna do? No one gets her like she does. And so Feeny brings her by and says she needs a partner, and Cory says, I'm taken.
Taken.
Yeah.
Very, very specific wording.
Yeah,
and of course the arm around the shoulders.
Cory is not doing a good job of being a boyfriend, and it does make sense. The acting choices, the wording choices for a early relationship Cory, not for a been with the same girl since September Cory.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I also can attribute this to, if we're going with this is the time period that's happening, Cory just sometimes just gets a big head.
Yeah.
And doesn't always realize what he is doing, especially with girls and how they may react to it. So
Yeah. He's 14, 15 years old. Cory dumb. Cory's not emotionally intelligent, really.
Yeah. That is a good way to put it.
Yeah. His emotional intelligence is not high. And he finds out someone paid for his lunch.
Yes. But Brett, you have to keep in mind that Topo Gigio won't mind.
Yeah.
But yes, Missy pays for Cory's lunch, which is a baller move in middle school, I will say, or ninth grade.
Yeah. It is.
And I don't know how Geneva did it when you were there, but when you would swipe your card, you can say, get the next couple of guys as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because you just have so many meals, you could never use them all.
Oh, yeah, we did that too. They were just introducing the ability to use your card off campus when I graduated, so.
Nice. Got a lot of Papa John's. Also not a sponsor. Not yet.
Not yet. I was just starting to be able to use it at Pizza Joe's when I left campus.
Yeah. That place really wasn't a thing once No, Pizza Joe's, I'm sorry. Yes. You couldn't use it when I was there. It was only Papa John's.
Oh, interesting.
I think so. Yeah. But either way, we're in the cafeteria still. Cory's going to go sit with Missy because that's not scandalous at all for a boy who's dating another girl to go sit with a different girl alone at a table.
Topo Gigio's not going to mind.
Topo Gigio. Topo Gigio.
Topo Gigio!
Yeah, but we run into our favorite teachers, Mr. Feeny, Eli, and Turner. And they're sitting down, Turner and Eli, and they're eating lunch. And Feeny comes up to them to ask, hey, what about pledging for my race that I'm going to be a part of? And Turner's like, I already pledged you $2 a mile. He goes, $2 for shame.
I do like when Feeny's trying to work someone over.
Oh, yeah. He hook, line, and sinkers Eli so quickly.
Oh, he swindles him.
Yes.
And, part of it is, I see part of that as Eli, new teacher, trying to, probably trying to suck up to the boss a little bit. But, yeah, he definitely gets taken for a ride.
Yeah. Yes. There's no other way to put it. Feeny scammed him bad.
Oh, yes.
Because Feeny tells the story about how around this time of the year, when it starts to get damp, his arthritis really kicks up. And it was so bad last year, he was a no-show, and he can't do that again this year. And he's worried that even if he gets a few blocks, it's for charity. It's for the homeless people. And Eli, trying to be a good person, says, you know what? Mark me down for $50 a mile. So that way, if you only get a mile, then you're getting 50 from me at least.
That's right. Which, if Feeny's story was legit, that's a good move. Feeny is lying.
Feeny is lying. One of the reasons I believe that Cory and Sean and Eric don't get in as much trouble for their shenanigans is because Feeny would have done the same.
Feeny's already pulled the same crap.
Yeah.
That's why Feeny is always so quick to catch on.
Yeah, so Corey's trying to talk about the assignment. He's like, listen, this is the business thing. I am only talking about the assignment. Let's talk about the assignment. She goes, well, what about Friday night? I'm having a party. Come over and we'll talk about at my party.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay,
And
well,
I give-
only if we talk about the Great Depression. Wouldn't be a party if we didn't.
I give full credit to Cory. With as much as he has been flirting, he is making every effort to make this partnership about the assignment.
Mm-hmm.
He's not actively trying to cheat on Topanga here.
Mm-hmm. Of course, then we get interrupted by Trini, wondering if Cory wants to go with her over to Topanga's house after school. And Cory is acting like he got caught cheating.
Oh, I clipped this one.
Oh, good. Go ahead.
What? You think you're the only person who cares about poor sick Topanga? I'll have you know that I love the girl. And she's all I think about. I'm thinking about her now. And now. And now I'm going over there to think about her.
I'm thinking about her now. And now. And I'm going to go over there to think about her now.
Yeah, very innocent. Very innocent indeed.
Oh, yes, totally.
We finally go to the Matthews house, Brett. Mm-hmm. And we see Cory and Eric, or Cory and Sean walking in, going through into the living room, and Eric is holding the family photo. He hands it to Sean and says, "Take this."
Take
and
this.
she walks out the door. You're like, what is happening? Puts a hole through the drywall, and then the next thing you see is Alan coming through, going, "Eric, what are you doing? I had to wrestle this out of Sean's hands."
So it's so dumb, but I love it.
Eric spent $200 at a memorabilia store to buy a picture of Teddy Beanbag Bagwell, who is two hit pitches away from the all-time hit by pitch record, which will then make him this picture worth a lot of money because it's autographed. So it's going to make him a lot of money, and then they can afford to buy a new family.
There are some
everyone to go to college.
Holes in Eric's plan, and I'll start with this. Yeah. You gotta have a buyer. B, where did Eric get $200? Because we've established he doesn't have a job this year, and clearly he doesn't have an allowance that's going to give him $200.
Money means nothing to these boys. They throw around money willy-nilly. It doesn't matter. I mean, maybe at this point, just their grandma sends them money all the time because she never sees them. Maybe that's how they have money. Because
maybe it was birthday money.
Honest to goodness, they never have real jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. Even when they're supposed to have a real job, they don't have real jobs. So maybe their grandma is just constantly sending them money now because she never sees them. Who knows?
Maybe.
We never get confirmation of grandma passing away. She wasn't at the wedding, so who knows? I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get to the next scene, and Cory is coming up to visit with Topanga, and yes. Trini is already there. And
yep.
She goes, "Oh, you two probably need a moment together," and she goes, "Well, actually, Trini," and she goes, "Okay, I'll stay another hour, but just another hour." How long has this girl been there?
I'm going to say probably about 20 minutes.
I think she's been there since after school. Like, however long it took Cory to get there, I think she's been there for at least an hour, if not more. Cory had enough time to get home, maybe eat something, and then go visit her. And then go to Missy Robinson's house.
I was assuming Cory. Well, let's see. What day is this even?
It's the same day. It's all the same day, Brett. It's Friday. She's sick. Partners. Party. All of it. Picture.
Oh, well.
I do think they established it is all happening on that same day.
Yeah, they do.
Missy Robinson takes a big swing at Cory on one day.
Well, anyway, Cory really is. He tries to minimize the whole Missy Robinson situation. You know, just the whole doesn't even remember her name, but Trini has filled Topanga in.
Yeah. Yeah, Cory's trying to play it cool, and she's like, yeah, I know. It's Missy Robbins. I trust you.
Yeah, and he fishes for permission to go to the party, and she gives it, and he's going to bring her back ice cream and promises he's going to.
If I'm not here by 9 o'clock, then we must be at war.
I don't know what type of... Here's one of my frustrations with Boy Meets World. There's no context of the distance between Cory's house, Topanga's house, and Chubby's. Like, how close are all these things? Like, is it one of those deals where it's just a few blocks away and just driving is faster, but also, like, as a teenager, it takes you 20 minutes walking to get there? Like, what is the actual difference? I'd love to know.
Or do they got to hop on a? Do they got to hop on a bus for a dozen stops? You know.
Right. But it's like, it feels like teenagers get there on their own. They don't need help getting there, and vice versa. It feels like Cory can get to everywhere he needs to go just by walking, which is fine.
What are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
I inadvertently tapped a button for a clip.
Okay. But yeah, he's going to try to get ice cream for Topanga because he loves her. And then Cory and Sean get to a party in a basement.
Yeah. Surprise.
Yes, it's a 4-person only party.
Yes. Cory is
the girl who initially hit on Cory, who is interested in Sean, and Missy, who's interested in Cory.
Yeah, he's gone from geek party to makeout party.
Yes. And since you're bringing that up, let's talk about this now, Brett.
All right, let's talk.
I have watched several episodes now of Boy Meets World because a thought kept creeping into my head that I couldn't get out of it, and I had to confirm it. And so, from my observation in several episodes, there is one basement that they use for this show, at least for these.
It does look
these
remarkably
two
familiar.
seasons, because this is the same basement as from the first one, the geek party. That Cory was at. The makeout party as well. This was also featured. And I think there's another, at least one more I think they used. I think it's 4 times they used it in this show, if not at least 3. So this is the only basement set that they have. And they angle it in different ways each time, so that way it doesn't feel like it's the same. Yeah, they do. But it's clearly the same place with a lot of the same decorations.
And that is definitely the same closet he and Topanga were in for 7 minutes of heaven. There's only so much redressing you can do for that.
That's the thing. I have no idea if it's a set. I have no idea if it's a real basement. I don't think it's a real basement because they shouldn't have a closet that big. But so where is this closet? I want to know what else has been filled in this closet. How do I find that? I don't know. We're not professionals. We're just doing this out of the love of the show. But it was driving me crazy when I was looking at it because it wasn't that long ago that we watched those 2 episodes. And I'm thinking to myself, like, gosh, this place looks the same. But if you go online and you search something like this, there's nothing about it. Why? Because no one thinks about this like I do, Brett.
Nope.
So
no one has made the archives.
Good-looking people. Has anyone else noticed this? That the same basement has been used in the show? Have you noticed other sets that have been reused in the show? Or is there other famous versions of this out there in other TV shows that you've seen? Let us know, because I cannot be the only person that noticed this.
There you go. Soapbox engaged.
That was my little conspiracy theory for a moment. But yes, this is the point that Cory should have had red flags and go, I'm going to go. Because Missy immediately says, you didn't say anything about my dress. Do you like my dress? And he tries to say, oh, Topanga has one like that, but longer. And just everything that she does is to hit on him, and everything he does is deflect, but not very well.
I have in my notes, just very simply, Missy is a homewrecker.
Missy would like Cory. That's what she desires, and that's what she's going to get. She is motivated, is what I would say about her. She has a goal in mind.
I'm curious, because this episode was written by two women, and yes, Michael Jacobs took a final pass at it. But it was written by two women. I'm curious if they wrote Missy as being someone who genuinely wanted Cory, or just wanted Cory because Topanga had him, and what her end goal was.
It does kind of feel like she has a anti-Topanga vibe. Like, she could just be trying to ruin their relationship because she doesn't like Topanga.
Topo Gigio?
Yes, Topo Gigio.
Topo Gigio won't matter. Topo Gigio's dress is too long.
But they try to talk about getting to know each other better, and Cory tries to go into details of his past life. Little bits of information that is just really funny for him to say. And she's still trying to work it, and Cory then uses one of these lines that clearly he thought about, which is, Missy Robinson, you're trying to seduce me. But
Missy
she
Robinson,
says,
you're trying to seduce me.
I wish I were doing better. Which means she is trying, and it's not going well, and she would like this to be going easier.
And up to this point, yes. Up to this point, yes, Cory should have seen red flags. Cory should have just turned around and walked away if he's really that committed to being Topanga's boyfriend. But I give some grace because he is a 14, 15-year-old boy with his first real relationship and his first real taste of, oh, there's another girl out there who's interested. It's kind of nice to have another girl interested in me, but, I'm not really going to do anything about it. Up to this point, okay. He's playing it smart at times, trying to bore her and redirecting back to the Great Depression. Yes, I'm sure somewhere in his mind he's trying to find some way to work on their project. But once she admits to that, Cory's next steps should be, thank you, it's been a lovely evening, I need to leave.
Yeah. No, he instead decides that he needs to find out what time it is, and it's 9 o'clock. It's 9:09, actually.
We're at war.
They arrive roughly at 9 o'clock, so what was he expecting? I don't know. But, so Cory asks a question that no people in high school would understand at this point, which is, can I use your cordless? For those that don't know, once upon a time, phones had cords. Phones were only in the home or office, and they had to have a cord. And if they didn't have a cord, they had to be charged on a little station, and then you could take them elsewhere. But for the most part, you had to keep your cordless close by.
I miss corded phones just for the sight gag of Cory trying to run up the stairs with it.
Right. So Cory then grabs a corded phone and sprints into a closet that is quite familiar to us viewers. And except instead of it being Topanga in there and having discussing of what's going on, Missy is full blown trying to seduce him.
Spicy in that closet.
Yes.
And
this show has a thing. This still has a thing about ears that I've never fully understood, and I still don't understand it as an adult, but there's an intense amount of going for ears and Cory really liking his ears being nibbled on.
And Susanna, and this is why I was really just wondering what the writer's motivation was for Missy, because Missy could have blown Cory's cover just by talking on the phone at that point.
And I don't know why she didn't.
I don't understand why she kept quiet at all during that conversation. What was I don't get it. But anyway, I'm not a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, Cory hangs up the phone, and Cory's trying to talk to her, and she full-blown kisses him.
Yep.
On the lips.
Yes.
And Cory's trying to say, I can't do this. And she goes, I think you can. And he's like, no, I need to get out of here. I need to leave. I need to go right now. She goes, no, you need to stay. And then out of nowhere, she goes, you need to get out of here.
Yeah. And I clipped I clipped this next sequence here.
Good.
So.
No. Look, Missy, I have a girlfriend. I should be with her. But, I mean, you're a very nice person and clearly attractive, but,
Get out of here now.
a little oversensitive.
No, my father's here.
Your father?
Yes, and I am not supposed to have boys over. You've got to get out of here fast.
And how fast would that be?
Do you see those deer?
Yeah.
Faster.
Get out!
Don't shoot, please. Oh, good, it's you. I want my best friend here when I die.
Relax. There isn't a basement in this town I haven't escaped from.
Well, then do it quick. Backstairs, through the garage, over the fence. You'll land in some shrubs, and it's a 30-yard dash to the highway. Go!
I've got a hunch you've done this before.
We didn't mention the deer on the heads on the wall. Her dad's a hunter.
Oh, yes. Dad's a
Not
hunter.
a Sean Hunter.
Nice little moment of going to the deers, and all of a sudden Cory seeing his face on there, yelling, "Get out!"
Oh, it's a great one. There are some really good visual gags in this one.
There's a lot of good little bits in this whole episode. There's no way around it. So yeah, Cory skedaddles out of there. But before we get there, we have Eric and Alan and Amy sitting on the couch
yes.
with no Morgan.
Does it
She's
pay
probably in
off?
bed at this point. And watching the game, and Ted Beanbag comes out, and Amy's kind of a little worried because he's looking very sickly. He gets beamed in the head. And Eric
one
is
does.
celebrating and so happy. He's like, one more hit, baby, one more. But apparently, he calls for the mic and says, I believe I am the biggest idiot on the whole planet. And as of now, I retire.
One hit shy of the record.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't have the right. It says, today I consider myself the stupidest man on the face of the earth. I quit baseball.
Still one hit shy of the record, and Eric's 200 macaroons were just down the drain.
Yeah. Which I do love that beforehand, Eric's like, this guy didn't know what he had when I walked into that shop. He goes, oh, I think I know exactly what he had. Yeah. So they make it down to Chubby's. Apparently Chubby's is still open after 9 o'clock. And
Restaurants used
trying
to
to
be
get
open after 9 on Friday night.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID.
So he's trying to
lots
get
of places were.
trying to get the ice cream from Chubby's. I didn't realize they also sold ice cream, but hey, there you go.
This is about the
Chubby's,
only time we're told
Chubby's
they do.
does everything.
They do. They just didn't want to redress the set.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
and it's Cory and Sean are talking about how they're home free, but Cory tells everyone in Chubby's that he kissed Missy.
Yeah, he's talking very loudly that he kissed her, that he kissed her, which
And
is not correct. She kissed him.
I have a huge issue because this is not the only time that this happens on Boy Meets World. This is a sitcom trope where the male character will take, whether you consider it taking the blame for a kiss that they didn't initiate, they didn't stop, but he didn't kiss her, she kissed him. Now, I don't hear what I'm not saying, good-looking people. Cory was in the wrong. But let's be completely intellectually honest here. Cory was kissed by Missy. Cory did not seek out a kiss. In that time, Cory was doing everything short of walking out the door, which he should have done, to avoid being kissed, to avoid being seduced by Missy. Short of walking out the door, Cory was doing everything he could have to not cheat on Topanga. And here he is, for whatever reason, giving into the sitcom trope of accidentally kissing someone and then under-explaining the situation to Topanga. This is one of the dumbest tropes in sitcoms that I have always had a problem with. And I always will.
Well, I will say that not Big Bang Theory, How I Met Your Mother. There's a great episode when Marshall, after being married for several years, gets hit on and I think potentially even kissed, or a woman tries to make a pass at him. And he explains to his wife, this woman, who I thought was my friend, was making a pass at me. And she tries to go, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know the situation. And Lily beats her up. Because Eric, why did I say
Marshall.
Eric? Marshall was trying to not. He didn't want anything to do with it. And yet this woman was pressuring him. And so I agree with you in that it feels like Cory's guilt is forcing him to say that he accidentally kissed her or he did something. And, to quote the philosopher Hitch, you go 90 and then she goes 10. You don't go the whole 100. And so Missy Robinson, you could argue, went 90 to 100, and Cory did not want to go those directions. Thus, it was not his fault that they kissed. She grabbed and planted one on him. Now, could he have done something to get out of the way? Should he have left beforehand? Yes. But should all of the blame of guilt lie upon him? No. This would be the same if a guy were to have kissed a girl. If Topanga was in this situation and a guy did to her what she was doing to him, first of all, it would feel like a much more serious episode. And second of all, you would not blame Topanga for that, regardless of what she was wearing or what she had said and done. So, yeah. I think we're both in agreement of, yes, Cory messed up, but Cory was not he was not trying to seduce her or anything to that nature.
He messed up, but he's getting blamed for the wrong thing.
Because if I had done to me what I did to them, then I'd have done the same thing to me that they did.
Yeah, but I will say guilt plays a huge part of it. Him feeling guilty of, I did not stop it before it happened. But you cannot control what you don't know is going to happen. So, but yeah, I love that Topanga shows up and she's trying to understand what happened. And Cory says, I accidentally kissed her. And she goes, what, did you trip and her lips caught your fall? Which is a great line by her.
It's a great line. It's not a unique line. It happens almost every time that someone uses the I accidentally kissed someone, but it's a great line from her. It's a fantastic response to that I accidentally kissed someone. You can't ask for a better one.
And I like that she's trying to understand of like, well, what type of kiss was it? Was it just this little peck? Was it on the cheek? Or was it an actual like important kiss? And he's like, wasn't like
Nobody's
that.
ever kissed me like that before.
Right. Which also makes sense to why he would say that, because they've been together long enough. I would assume they would have already kissed like that. Thus, the show shows them doing that beforehand. So, again, a little more forgivable for the actual wording made.
The show shows them kissing like that in the basement of the poetry reading.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But anywho,
I
more
digress.
importantly, Brett, I like that they take this moment of, yes, this could destroy their relationship or just brings them closer together, resolving that, yes, this might have happened, but we can move past this.
I do like that this showcases forgiveness.
Yeah, it does. Their relation, they talk about it in a weird way as the show progresses of, well, we start and we stop. We start and we stop so much, but they don't actually start and stop that much. It's just one of them will mess up, one of them will do something, and they will forgive each other. And sometimes it takes them longer to forgive each other. Sometimes it's harder for them to move past the things they've done, but that's also a real relationship. Like,
Yep.
I'm not going to put words in your and Kelly's mouth, but I'm assuming you guys have done things to hurt each other's feelings, whether intentional or unintentional, and crossed a line you shouldn't have crossed. And you've, talked it out, worked it out, said the things you needed to say. And, you're growing in your relationship. I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, but
we've been married for 18 years. You're dead on in your assumption.
Right. So you're not the same people you were when you first started dating, and the issues and problems you have now is not the same as you do now. What you had then is not the same as you do now. So, because you're growing together. So that's the vibe, I guess, we're talking about, and the fact that Cory and Topanga, at a young age, in the first time they're really boyfriend girlfriend, that they're able to have a forgiveness moment is huge.
Indeed.
So, yes, Cory messed up, but Topanga, it's almost like Topanga's saying, oh, you're trying to steal my man? No, you're not. He's my man.
And she gets
you thought you were going to
sick.
break me up? Yeah, Cory gets sick. And so I love the closing to this episode, by the way, because you have Feeny going to the guys to get what they owe. Let me double check on exactly how much they owe, unless you have that already to go.
Oh, yes. Feeny is going to be collecting $500 from Eli and a cool $50 from John.
Yes, that's a big difference of needing to collect $50 and $500 from someone.
Yeah.
And I gotta say,
John,
if someone
John
hustled...
did up his original. He upped it to $10 a mile.
No,
Or
it was $5.
$5 a mile. $5 a mile. Yeah, from $2 originally.
Yeah, he did 10.
Yeah. Can you buy me lunch? Sure. For the rest of the year.
But I'll say this: if Eli is is a similar position as I am in financially, if someone were to say, "Oh, you owe me $500 for charity because they hustled me," that would break a relationship.
Yeah,
because that is
really
a
would.
huge chunk of change for a while for me still. I seriously have to pay that much right now? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, if I got hustled, that would, I'd appreciate the hustle, but I'd be like, no, sorry, dude.
Yeah. I mean, it's hilarious. I'll give you that, Brett. It is hilarious. There's no way around it. But yeah, we discover, because Topanga is now on the phone with Cory, that he is sick at home. But luckily for Cory, Topanga decides to send him a feel better gift, which is
yes,
Trini.
In her final appearance on Boy Meets World, Brittany Murphy.
Yeah. Her character was so weird, but I would have loved for her, the caliber of actress she is, to stay on this show longer.
Yep.
It's like this show
I'm
likes
with
to
you.
do cool girls that don't stay, but also these really oddball characters who could be really interesting additions to the show, who also just leave.
I know, man.
I don't know.
I'm with you there.
It's like it's going to take another 2 seasons before they're comfortable having multiple women on this show as main characters.
I know. It's Jacob's fault.
Yeah, probably. That is a high school thing, though. It really is. But, Brett, that was an episode.
That was an episode. That was the Last Temptation of Cory, which means it's time for...
Hey,
Am I the only one who read the summer reading list?
Deep dives.
The show's episode gets its name based off of a film called The Last Temptation of Christ, film from 1988. It's an epic religious drama from Martin Scorsese, written by Paul Schrader. Yeah. It's an adaptation of Nico Krasinski, controversial 1995 novel of the same name, starring Willem Dafoe, Harvey Keitel, Barbara Hershey, and several other big names such as David Bowie. Interesting. Released
right,
August.
The Green Goblin played Jesus.
Released August 12th, 1988. Budget of $7 million and made $33.8 million. Film depicts the life of Jesus and his struggle with various forms of temptations, including fear, doubt, depression, reluctance. Wow, I didn't realize I couldn't spell that. Reluctance and lust. So, interesting stuff. I've never watched it or read the book, so I don't know much about it other than what I'm seeing online. Did you ever watch it, Brett?
I have not seen the full movie. I've seen enough of it and read enough of the accompanying commentary to know, but I've never seen the full thing. It's not one that you would really go to church on a Sunday morning to see. The Passion of the Christ
I had a feeling.
is not.
I would not view this one as a based on biblical context. So it's mostly a secular worldview is the best way to put it, and that's okay. Only because we don't really know much.
Art.
I don't know much
it's
about
what
it.
it is.
So, yeah.
Yes.
And that's what all TV and movie is, Brett. It's all art. So the main theme of this episode and the title character of Missy Robinson really comes from the movie The Graduate. Graduate, an independent romantic comedy drama by Mike Nichols, based on a novel from 1963, same name, by Charles Webb. He wrote it shortly after graduating from college. The film tells a story about 21-year-old Benjamin Braddock, played by Dustin Hoffman, as a recent college graduate, as he tries to figure out what to do with his life now. And married woman, Mrs. Robinson, who has daughters, same age as the Dustin Hoffman's character. She decides that she is going to see if, she can tempt him, is the best way to put it. And they start a little bit of an entanglement, the two of them. Released December 21, 1967, as I said before. Budget of $3 million and made 104.9 in North America and 85 worldwide rentals. Interesting. But anywho, this is a classic movie that has been in pop culture for quite some time. So a big part of this movie is going to a wedding at the last second and stopping the wedding, running away with the bride. And it's a trope that's been used in many things throughout time. And one of the things that people did not realize at the time of release was that the director had intended the movie to end with a happy, they smile at each other, and then that's it. Except they got on the bus, the two actors, they look at each other, they smile, and then they think the scene's over, so then they kind of just turn away from each other, and they're just kind of staring off into the distance. And so the director thought this is a more interesting way to end the movie, with not them being happy, but kind of this thought of, now what do we do with ourselves? So sorry to spoil this movie, but also it's very much a popular trope that started in this movie.
Older than Boy Meets World.
It's older than Boy Meets World on Boy Meets World, Brett. It's so old that Feeny would have saw it as a young man.
Yes.
So as a young teacher.
Yes.
So yeah, one of the big things is that there's actually a movie called Rumor Has It, which is a Rob Reiner movie starring Jennifer Aniston, Kevin Costner, Mark Ruffalo, and Shirley MacLaine, where it insinuates that this is actually based on a real story. There's really was a Mrs. Robinson. There really was a guy who came, who slept with mom, slept with daughter, and Jennifer Aniston's trying to figure out, is that guy actually her father? Blah blah blah. It's complicated. It's like it's a part of the movie, but really at the end of the day, it's not really a part of the movie. So it just is a way to talk about the story more. And then also, we cannot talk about this anymore, Brett, without talking about the classic song, Mrs. Robinson, which basically...
Mrs. Robinson.
Song written by the music duo of Simon and Garfunkel, part of their fourth studio bookends. Yeah, from 1980 or 68, written for The Graduate. This song is probably one of the things that helped keep this movie in the zeitgeist, because even though it's not called The Graduate, but it focuses in on this situation of this affair, but it's kind of clouded in this almost sounds like a romantic song of a love story, but it's not if you pay attention to the lyrics. Which I will say, people, as much as people may complain about lyrics today, go back and listen to some of the lyrics of the 80s, and I think you'd be surprised what people were singing about back then.
Go back to the 60s, man.
Yeah. Now, I think I'll just cover this because there is one more big movie reference made in this episode. So there is a franchise I think Brett is quite a fan of. I could be wrong, but I'm just going to throw it out there to you because there's a very famous movie scene that has deer heads on it. And it's from a little independent movie. Not everyone's heard of it, but it's called The Evil Dead 2.
I just watched the first one 2 nights ago.
Yes. So Evil Dead 2 is a sequel to Evil Dead. Came out in 1987. Essentially, from my understanding, I have not watched these movies, Brett, so please forgive me. But Sam Raimi, who directed the first Spider-Man trilogy, in my opinion, the best Spider-Man trilogy, he essentially... He had a vision for a movie he could not get made, so he made it in a way that could get made as cheaply as possible. And then once he had the funds to do the movie he wanted to do, he essentially made the movie he originally wanted to make almost identically with the same actor and called it Part 2.
Story, yeah. It is a requel in the purest sense.
Yes. So there is a very famous scene where Bruce Campbell, who is the star of this franchise, also his character's name is Ash. He is running around and he runs back into the house, and there are these deers on the wall that are laughing at him. And I think there's other critters too that are making ruckus. Basically, everything is alive, everything is evil, and it freaks him out, and he starts laughing because he's going crazy.
Oh, he snaps. Yes.
And yes, so this is I would say more of a nod towards that movie of having Cory's head on the wall, making a kind of demonic sounding get out sound, because they couldn't go too full blown of having a deer talking and everything, but it's also not a bad trope in this time period of almost having this homage to this craziness and someone's head being on a wall. I think Fresh Prince did this at one point too, but so yes, I figured you would like me bringing up Evil Dead though. For
yes. Always a good reference.
Yes. Okay, 2 more. Would you rather hear about the baseball one first, Brett, or do you want to hear about that last?
Sure. Let's do the baseball one first.
Okay. So I did not look up the character that's listed as Beanbag because I'm just going to go on a limb here and say, Brett, that's probably...
I'm pretty sure he's fake.
Fake. So I have here the list of 100 players who have been hit by a pitch the most in their careers. So...
tell me you're not reading
for those that
them all.
don't know, so no, I'm not gonna read them all, I promise. For those of you who don't know what baseball is, I don't know how that's possible because we literally talk about baseball nonstop in the first season. But for those of you that don't know, guy stands in the middle of the field, throws the ball. That's called a pitch. So pitcher pitches the ball to the batter. If the batter gets hit, it's called being hit by pitch. Simple enough. Mm-hmm. They make it simple so that way jocks that get hit in the head can understand. So anywho, the record for hit by pitch is 287. Brett, would you like to take a guess on the name of said baseball player who's been hit by pitch 287 times?
I would not.
Well, it's probably for the best because the guy's name is Hugh Ambrose Jennings.
Yeah,
Yes.
I wouldn't have gotten that.
His career spanned from 1891 to 1925.
Wow.
Yeah. He played for the Baltimore Orioles and actually won the National League Championship in 1894, 1895, and 1896. In those seasons, he had a batting average of 0.335, 0.338, and 0.41. So he was pretty good player.
Right.
He actually was born in Piston, Pennsylvania, and passed in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Passed away and born in 1869 and passed in 1928. I will say that if this this record that has stood for way over 100 years at this point, if that were to get broken, that would be actually impressive. However, I don't think that's a record you really want to go after.
No.
But here's the thing. Just want to check. Nope, that's not who I was thinking of.
Batty.
Right now, there is one guy who is getting close, Chase Utley. He's had over 204 hits. He is, I believe, retired at this point. Frank Robinson, Jason Giambi, Alex Rodriguez. Holy, if he got hit more. Derek Jeter. All these guys have been impressively hit quite a bit. However, right now, the 2 active players who, I don't know, maybe they could break the record. Starling Martin, Marte, who used to play for the Pirates. I can't remember where he plays now. I think for the Mets. He is at 154 right now. So, it could happen. Mm-hmm. And Anthony Rizzo from the Cubs, he's actually at 213. So he's only, 75 pitches away from breaking the sucker.
And you know what he'll say if he breaks that? He'll step up to the microphone and he'll say,
You're proud of me, aren't you?
I was hoping you had the actual...
I didn't clip that. But his manager will turn around and look at him and say,
You're batty.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't expect to actually find that information, so it's kind of interesting. So last but not least, Brett, let's go ahead and talk about Sean Hunter's correct answer of Franklin Roosevelt and the New Deal. So yes, as we know, Franklin Roosevelt, president from 1933 to 1939. Brought about the New Deal, which brought about here I'll just read it for random. Included new constraints and safeguards on banking industry and efforts to reinflate the economy after prices had fallen sharply. The New Deal program includes both laws passed by Congress as well as presidential executive orders during the first term of the presidency of Franklin D. Roosevelt. So basically the goal for the New Deal was to get America back on track so that way we could get out of the Great Depression and start moving into a better position in the world. You guys know this, but we had the Great Depression. That was really bad and needed the government to step up and actually do its job. I don't know why I'm saying it like this. It's not like there's chaos right now going on in our government, but the Franklin Roosevelt brought about an era of the government doing things to actually make the lives better of the people in America at the time because things were bad. So let's just take 2 seconds, Brett, and say, wouldn't it be nice if politicians actually did what they're supposed to do and actually run the government and actually, try to do things? Now, they weren't perfect because clearly things go bad, but, some of the things included were the Civilian Conservation Corp, the Work Progress Administration, the Civil Work Administration, the Farm Security Administration, and the National the National Industrial Recovery Act, and the beginning of Social Security Administration. So, Brett, again, I say maybe politicians could take a look at this because we're coming on to about getting close to 100 years after the fact, and there's a strong possibility, and I've heard this around the world, that a certain generation right now is having a much harder time getting the things that their great-grandparents got, even though we're going through very similar financial situations. So, not saying things are horrible, but they could be better.
I've heard that.
Again, if politicians did their job, if politicians would show up like T Swift shows for Travis Kelce, things would be better, Brett.
Every episode.
And those are your deep dives.
Alrighty then.
You're proud of me, aren't you?
Yes.
Well then.
You know anything about the Odyssey? Huh? Did I say you could talk?
I didn't teach you that.
My friend Mr. Matthews will lead the discussion.
Do I have to draw you a picture?
Yes.
What did we learn? Tyler, what did we learn from this episode?
Oh, gosh. I feel like this is one of those episodes, and I know that you're going to get tired of me saying this, Brett, but I feel like it's how can I learn so much, but yet still be so stupid? But I guess the thing that I will say is just being more willing. You know what? I'll go back for a second. There's a podcast called Crime Junkies. I've listened to some of the episodes. My wife loves it. A lot of women love Crime Junkies. I do enjoy myself. But one of the things they say is it's better to be rude than to be dead. Because there are people that part of their story is that they were kind, they were nice, because they didn't want to hurt someone's feelings, and they made poor choices. So one of their rules is it's better to be rude than to be dead. So, Cory, be rude. And it's okay. Cory/Tyler, if you end up being a little bit of rude, if you're put in an uncomfortable situation, in a situation you don't want to be in. Also, Sean needs to be a better friend. I keep learning that too. Sean needs to step up and be a better friend.
That he does, yeah.
Brett, what'd you learn?
We've been in this situation with Cory a couple of times before. It seems, it feels like. So my lesson that I'm learning and I'm reteaching is explain yourself when something happens to you clearly. Don't just fall back on whatever comes out of your mouth first. Make sure you communicate clearly, whether it's I accidentally kissed someone or I have a girlfriend, and if this is all that you're going to do at this party, I'm leaving. I want to focus on my project. Make sure you're communicating effectively.
Yeah.
That's my learning. So, let's look at...
I'm right?
No, you're exactly right.
So am I done with my education? Can I go?
How would you grade this puppy, Tyler?
Oh, I gotta go with an A. I don't think it's an A+, but I think this is one of the strongest episodes this season. So I go with an A.
You're not going to like my grade.
Ooh.
I went with a C+.
Explain.
My C+ was it's for two big reasons. One, Eric's B story just kind of felt like it was just there. I mean, just jokes for joke's sake, which is fine. But we already had the B story. We really had two B stories that weren't either big enough for a B story. We had Eric and we had Eli and Feeny. We just had two side joke stories, which they're fine. They're just there. But really, it's Cory and the way that he just continues to roll with blowing through all of these red flags. And like I said in my complaint, he didn't necessarily do anything wrong. He just didn't make the right decisions. And he didn't seek out any advice beyond Sean. And I would have liked to have seen some, I don't know. And there's not really anyone that he could have sought advice from. It's just one of those episodes where I will watch it, and there's so many great little visual gags and everything in it. I get to the end, and I that ending moment between Cory and Topanga, as much as I like that it ends in forgiveness, it doesn't ring as fully authentic to me. Topanga seems a little too quick to say, fine, I'll just give you my sickness and we're even. Especially when the whole accidentally kissed. I need a little bit more there.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Mm-hmm. But also keep in mind that these are 15-year-olds.
Oh, yes, they are.
So these are 15-year-olds that, in the production of the show, they just said they loved each other. So clearly they can work past this. I'm going to be honest with you, Brett. A lot of the things that you said helped push me up to an A, because I was, honestly, if before we talked, I probably would have said like B, maybe B+. But there was a lot of things that we talked about, and I really enjoyed our part of the conversation. Bumped me up to an A because I've always liked this episode.
I actually bumped my own grade up, but I was at a C- before we started recording.
Wow. So yeah, dear viewers, sometimes we adjust our grade because we talk about it.
Yeah, it's not that I hate the episode. I will watch the episode over and over again, and I enjoy. I will quote the episode. Yeah. It's just from an artistic viewpoint, from a storytelling viewpoint, there are just some holes that I have a hard time getting past.
No, and that's fair. I just think that the actress that played Missy Robbins, I think she did a phenomenal job and kind of carried this episode in a way. Like, Cory was almost a passenger in his own show.
He really was.
He wasn't
Ben, aside
the main
from a few
character.
line readings, was and aside from a few line readings, he wasn't the same Ben Savage we've gotten used to this season.
Yeah, it's almost like he didn't know what to do with himself. His girlfriend wasn't there.
What do I do with my hands?
Yeah, what do I do with my hands?
Which really doesn't sound good when we're talking about Cory and a girl.
No. Okay.
Anyway.
Yes, Brett, actually it does make sense. But yeah, I was just going to say that we are coming from the adult perspective, and some of this is going to fall flat for us now, but I think this is one of those that I've seen this one so much over the years that I have some nostalgia for it too, which has always kind of kept it up higher for me. And again, at the end of the day, I don't mind when Eric is in not a lot of the episode. At least he had something he was doing. In previous times when you and I have roasted this show, it's because Eric would just walk in, walk out,
Sleep
say
study.
a line or two. Yeah. I mean, I didn't mind the sleep study that much, but I mean, at least he has something this episode. So, and stuff he's doing is funny.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need something deep from him, but it's just like he's just there. Eli, I mean, we've got a couple of B plots that are just kind of.
I mean,
they don't have to advance. I mean, I'm not saying they have to, but it just feels like they just feel like filler to me. And if we're gonna have filler, just let's go with one.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Brett. I think this show is trying to figure out how do we have the adult storyline, the teenage drama storyline, but also have a funny thing. So it's almost like they have like an A, B, and C plot, which it's hard to have that in a kids teenage show. You need to have a focus. And they didn't.
Incredibly.
So,
and I mean, they met their goals. They needed to feature the adults. They needed the drama. They needed the comedy. And they checked off those boxes. And I don't fault them for that. Yeah.
And at least they were in the episode.
Exactly. And at least we got Alan and Amy.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
in a few weeks, we'll get Morgan back.
Yay. I've not actually I've not watched too far ahead, so I can't remember when she comes back. Every time she's like, they're doing stuff, I go, she must just be sleeping or must be sleeping somewhere that they don't feel like talking about.
Yeah, she's at the doctor's.
Yes. So, Brett, I believe I owe you a dad joke.
You do owe me a dad joke.
If it'll load up for me. It decided to disappear. Okay. Alrighty, Brett. What do you call an angry carrot?
An angry carrot. I don't know. What do you call an angry carrot?
A steamed veggie.
All right. Well, good-looking people. Where did my outro theme go?
I don't know. That's what I'm waiting for.
That's what I'm looking for. I loaded it in. Where do we learn? How can I learn so much? Game show theme. Give me 1 second here. Man, I put it in here and it's anyway. There it is. All right. So anyway, good looking people.
There it is.
There it is.
Well, Brett, this has been quite a special episode for us. Brand new theme. I still love it, even though it messed me up at the beginning. And I'm curious what the good-looking people think of it. Do you like the new theme? Hey, if you're on YouTube, are you enjoying seeing our beautiful faces? Do you enjoy seeing our messes?
Yes, our messes and our swag, our gear.
Swag,
Yes.
swag.
Yes. Now you can't get Tyler's now. Maybe next time we'll bring that back next time we do a fundraiser for MS Footprints. But mine is there. Which, by the way, dadsmeetworld.threadless.com. And you can find us online on our social profiles at dadsmeetworld, at dadsmeetworld on Twitter /X, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. And you can send us an email at dadsmeetworld@gmail.com.
Yes,
so Tyler,
we want to hear from you.
Yes. I checked the email this afternoon. We don't have any email messages. We want to hear from you. We want some some hard-hitting emails about why you hate my grade for this episode and why Tyler's right.
Yes, tell us. Tell us why Brett's wrong, and also let us know if you've noticed weird times TV shows have reused the same locations.
That's right. Who else used the basement in this episode?
Yeah.
So Tyler, until next time, I'll see you, good looking.
For you, good looking.
You can find Dads Meet World on Facebook, Twitter, and probably a few other places just by searching for Dads Meet World. Dads Meet World is a production of Headfirst Studios. Headfirst Studios, tell your story.
If I'm not here by 9 o'clock, then we must be at war.
Yes. How many clips did you play while you were waiting for me?
Oh, that was only like 2.
I was going to say, I just need to start working on my setup because right now it's just my blank wall of my dining room.
What you need is you just need to get a big Dads Meet World tapestry from the Dads Meet World shop. Just hang it behind you until you get it all set up.
That's true.